Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. Today we'll be doing a quick sketch of Sandman. And Sandman is a character in the comics, and particularly it was in the Mature Comics label, which was presided by DC Comics, but it is a label that focused on mature stories. So we are going to be drawing Sandman, and for this you need to just do a very core sketch, egg shape, the head, that will be the collar. Sandman is not muscular or even a character who is overtly fit or outstanding in the physical sense. He's a regularly proportioned person, and has all these dramatic expressions in the comics. So I've put in that for a hand, elbow around here, arm, and chest, shoulders, and of course his face. So if you could continue in pencil, I'm going to finish this off with a marker because it actually suits the character design more. So Sandman was created by the great Neil Gaiman. I think I pronounced that correctly, and he is a character that infuses the psychological element, and as I mentioned that it was for the mature comics reader, and it was rightfully the mature comics reader because some of these themes were very dark, complex, and sometimes I would even say very realistic, very disturbing when it came to exploring the human psyche. So if you are at all a comic book reader, or even casually want to delve into Neil Gaiman's work, you will be very happy. And if you haven't checked this out already, you'll be very happy that I mentioned this, because Sandman makes for some very eccentric reading. So the face is pretty much just along those lines, and then the majority of his look has this goth feel to it. So his skin is essentially white, and then he has all this wild, sharply sticking out 80s rocker style here, which actually suits him very well. So, and the ears are, in most of the versions, I think perhaps because of the placement of the angle, not essentially visible. So I'm doing a version in which he just has these black overalls with a slightly exposed chest. There's some cloth folds here. Now we'll just go somewhere like that. And there's the tattered design. It depends on how many cloth folds you would like to put in. Keeping it mostly black is the key. Going in some collarbone there, and just that little indent for the chest. And then I brought his hand in, so I'm going to, it's actually very, if you Google his images, you'll see that there is an image where he is working with sand in his hands that's like flowing away. I'm not doing the same thing, but I just have this dramatic pose going about it because it really struck me. And there's the core sketch of the hand, and then just to wrap him up, and you'll see why this is essential practice in terms of comic book or pop culture art. It's because this character design is very, very generic, very basic, and it actually is very simple to draw, and you can achieve a handful of expressions with this guy. As you see, I'm just going here. In certain versions, like he has what you call longer hair, but he always has these tones about him along these lines. So I have a light source that's coming in from here, let's say, and just putting in a bit of crosshatch, or sorry, a bit of ink there. And depending on what material you would like him to wear, I don't think he has any set costume, but mostly like this is the theme, like it's black, and I really loved this one in which he has these robes, and he's called the King of Dreams because he affects things mostly through the let's say the psychological, as I mentioned, or the visual plane, and where all these complexities of the psyche and all these issues, depending on the guest characters, are explored. Sometimes perhaps a little too closely, but again, that is called inventive writing, and that was for a medium that was really intended for kids, but Sandman was one of those titles that focused on mature readers. And surprisingly, like, there's no movie on this centering around this character. There should be, but here we are. One quick look at Sandman. So do try it out, and you can do so much with this, so many different effects, and you could create other characters and make this very generic and simple design work for you. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, keep in touch, have yourself a wonderful day.